Good evening, Cherries fans, and welcome to this special edition of Cherry Picking here, the Cherries in all departments. Firstly, there was another video that was going live at 9 o'clock, as probably a lot of you saw. Unfortunately, due to some of the issues with the software that we actually use, it didn't kind of work like that. So hopefully you have found it now. But it is a good pleasure to have my main man on the show with me tonight, Mr. Matthew Harrison. How you doing, Matt? You're good. I can't hear you again. There is something going wrong tonight, isn't there? Oh well, it's one of those technical issues that everybody has. I tell you what, let's try and get it sorted. Whilst we do that, I'm just going to play the Dental on the Banks tune. What they can do for you, visit dentalonthebanks.co.uk. Firstly, you know, if you are watching this live, I do apologize if this video is very, very brief. Unfortunately, it is out of our control. Matt, can we hear you?
Hello, hello.
We can hear Matt now. We can hear Matt. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Excellent. And finally, we've got there. And it's a pleasure to have on Max. How you doing, Max?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate.
Excellent. Right, we can all hear each other. Let's just hope it stays like that. So, yeah, apologies about that. Unfortunately, it's completely out of our control. So, of course, yesterday we were beaten 1-0 by Southampton, the side we didn't want to be beaten by. Of course, they put some bugs in the system here, it seems, up the Cherries and all departments as well, just to please us. Yeah, it was a bit of a disappointing result from a game that I think we dominated them, didn't we?
Yeah, it's disappointing result all round, really. We did have a lot of the ball. I think, you know, not being biased, but I think we probably made Southampton look better than what they were. But, you know, the final third last night, we just weren't clinical enough, and you know, and some deliveries were poor in the box from set pieces. And yeah, it didn't, you know, we wasn't the same. Didn't seem the same spirited side that played against Fulham. You know, with Gary O'Neill being a new young manager, you know, he's learning the trade. You know, I've got to say, I did question maybe the substitutions he made. Didn't quite understand bringing Junior Stanislas on. Love the player. I got a lot of time for Junior Stanislas. Been great servant of the club, good player, but I think he's probably lacking that match fitness. So I probably wouldn't have brought him on. But yeah, it was a disappointing night all around. I think it saved the Saints manager's job for the meantime. But yeah, just got to build and go again, really. And this will be the test now for Gary O'Neill. Will be the test to see how we react from that result going into Monday night's game.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen some really negative stuff on Twitter today, and to be honest, some of the stuff that I've seen is that one person put that Ryan Christie isn't up to this level, which personally I think is bonkers after one narrow defeat against Southampton, albeit, I don't think Southampton were particularly very good. I think we were the better side. But at the end of the day, Ryan Christie has shown that he can do it. But I just don't think, and would you both agree with me, that he just doesn't have that finish on him at the moment? I think he lacks a bit of confidence in that sense.
I mean, when you watch him play for Celtic, I know obviously that you can't really compare the Scottish Premier League to the English Premier League, but he did score a lot of goals up there from what I've seen, and down here, he scored a few in the Championship, and he scored obviously against Leicester, but I think there's more to his game than just scoring goals. To be fair, I think there's more to his all-round game, and I've got to say Christie's one of my favourites. To be fair,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, the comment that you just put up there is
spot on, really, isn't it?
Really, because we did get the ball away quite a few times. Silly balls, and we were poor in the final third. But yeah, the effort was still there, definitely. I mean, I would agree with that. I mean, it wasn't the poorest performance you've ever seen in your life. It was just quite frustrating because what we can do in the final third wasn't happening. And I think personally we played a better side on Saturday, and got a better result away from home. So hopefully this is just a little blip. Obviously I predicted 3-1 or 3-0, whatever it was, because I got to admit I was really confident going into the game. I think Che Adams' goal, I think maybe Sensei could have done a little bit better. Maybe if he got his head on it, or maybe at least tried to put his head on it. But I mean, Armstrong up top. I mean, all he seemed to do was run with the ball. There seemed to be no final delivery or final finish from him. He just seems to just run with the ball. In fairness to Che Adams, he did hold the ball up well for him. Which isn't an easy game to play. But overall, I've got to say, I still will say I wasn't overly impressed with him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we'll finish above Southampton, and I know that Southampton fans might be watching this and thinking, well, it. But I honestly do think we are a better side. Things that I noticed yesterday, I don't think Fredericks was really as effective as he was against Fulham. I think Adam Smith maybe on the right-hand side, and Lerma should have, Zamora should have been on the left. Also Tavernier, and this is a question, and we was discussing this a little bit earlier on, wasn't we? And by the way, the Facebook user, unfortunately, it doesn't pop up with your name. Please do get involved if you do want to. The link is just scrolling below, and it's also in the chat function on here as well, or on YouTube. So yeah, please do get involved. I can understand if people don't get involved tonight because of the technical issues that we've had. We did have another video that actually started but nobody could actually get onto it. So apologies about that. But one thing that, I did think with Tavernier was just from dead ball situations,
Poor.
when you got, but a Middlesbrough fan actually made a comment earlier on, and I'll actually read this one out because it's quite interesting. But when you've got Lewis Cook on the pitch, surely he would be a better placed player to take those free kicks. He's not good. He'll forgive me for this, but he's shorter player, so you can't really get him into the box. He might be able to stand off and be able to hit in a shot from the outside, but surely he'd be better to take a corner to actually cross the ball into the box. Tavernier's quite a big guy, and could do something with it in there. But from dead ball situations, he's been really, really poor.
On last night's performance, I would say, it has been poor. I think, he's got a lot of potential for the future. He's good at running with the ball, beating a man. That sometimes I think he tries to beat one too many men.
Yeah.
But in terms of his corners yesterday, I thought they were pretty awful, to be honest. I mean, I think a couple of them didn't even get as far as the first post, did they? But
no,
I remember rightly. But no. I mean, that's part of the our final third yesterday was just poor.
Yeah, completely agree. And like I was saying, that Middlesbrough fan who actually made quite an interesting comment. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show it on screen. The chap's name is Mickey Mardy. So I will just get that to pop up any moment now. So from a Borough fan, if you guys can see that, his energy and drive is not recognised until he's gone. So, but has always been awful at set pieces.
Well, obviously, we know enough about the player, and I can't not but agree with that comment.
Yeah, I think he always seems to give 110%. He is still a young player. I think sometimes you see a bit of naivety in his play, but personally, I think he does do quite a lot. I think he had quite a good game against Fulham. I think he had a decent enough game against Leicester, and I think he was good yesterday. But personally, from dead ball situations, we've got better options. We've got Phil Billing. Look at what he did against Forest last season.
Yeah, I mean, he must be doing something on the training pitch for Gary O'Neill to want to keep having him take set pieces. But if I was in the dugout last night, I'd be thinking slightly differently, and seeing how he does perform in training from set pieces and getting others onto set pieces. Like you say, I think from someone from corners like Lewis Cook, he can deliver a decent ball.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't quite agree with you with Tavernier's height, but he's quite a short lad himself, isn't he? But
but he's a bit bigger than Lewis. To be fair,
I think. Yeah, I think I could see where you're coming from in terms of someone like Lewis Cook taking it. But yeah, no, I mean it was just a disappointing all round night, wasn't it? I mean, we can't just blame the set pieces for it. I mean, I think Lewis Cook took a set piece, didn't he? He had a shot at goal, didn't he?
Yes, yeah. Too much with it, really.
Pretty much went over, didn't it? So, it was a disappointing night all round. I don't think you could pinpoint, one player for fault, really. I think they all put a shift in. But the rub of the green weren't on our side last night. And, there was always going to come that time, to go 6 games unbeaten in the Premier League isn't the most easiest things to do. And, we have done that. We had a great response from that terrible day at Liverpool. So now it's a case of seeing how we respond to a defeat again. It's definitely 3 points dropped. I would say we probably, with our effort, we deserved a point.
Yeah.
But it wasn't to be. West Ham ain't going to be an easy place to go. And then we've obviously welcomed Spurs, don't we?
We do, yeah.
The next 2 games are really difficult games coming up. And it'd be interesting to see how we respond.
Well, they're saying that Southampton got a draw against West Ham, albeit it was at St Mary's.
Yeah, it's a difficult place to go to, though, this new ground. I mean, being at the, Upton Park Bowling Ground, whatever, people call it, I mean, that was a, totally different ground, totally different feel to this new one. We managed to go there and get that good result first season. And obviously they moved out of there into this new one. And this new one's, I mean, I don't know if either of you have been there, but it's quite away from the pitch.
Yeah, and it's really weird, isn't it? It was all done for the Olympics, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was the old Olympic Stadium, isn't it? I mean, I've seen football there, and I've seen concerts there. It's not a bad concert venue, to be fair. It's a pretty good concert venue, but in terms of football, it's a little bit, I don't know. It's a bit of a funny one, especially when you're used to being on top of the pitch week in, week out. When you're obviously at our ground, to go there, it's funny old ground, But
Yeah.
so it's good. It's going to be a difficult place to go. Obviously, West Ham haven't had the greatest of starts this season. Obviously, they've got the distraction of the European games they're playing. And they'll be seeing Bournemouth as a winnable game. We can't lie. And, we just got to go up there and try and get something out of the game. But yeah, it will be a difficult couple of games coming up.
Yeah, definitely. Max, what do you think? Of course, with the regards to Shea Adams' goal, is it she or Shay?
Shay.
Yeah, I always say it wrong. Plays for Southampton. What did you make of it?
I'm on mute. No, I'm not. Normally I'm on mute when I'm speaking. Right. Going back to his goal, because I managed to get the stream up on Prime Video before his goal went in.
Mm-hmm.
I thought our defenders could have done better there. We just stood there and he had a free header and headed it straight into the top corner, and Neto had no chance really. It is a great finish, but the thing that can be annoying is he hasn't done much for Southampton all season, has he? Like, of course, it's up against Bournemouth. He scores against us, but we've got to learn and move from that goal and that. Also, the defence could have done a little bit better about that. I don't know who it was closest to marking him. I think it was Senesi.
I think you might be right. Yeah.
Yeah, but unbelievable finish. Neto again. I don't think he could have done much about that really, because he would have had to proper spread himself out when he jumped, if he'd have jumped for that. But I mean, fair enough, fair play. It was a clinical finish, and we were lucky in the final third really, because just couldn't finish, could we? And I mean, every time we play Southampton at home, we never get the winning numbers, do we? Like, every time we play them at home. Last time we beat them at home, I think, was 2016, the first season in the Premier League. I think it was 2-0. And I think our only ever win at St Mary's was 3-1, I think.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago when we got relegated. I think it was 2 seasons ago, before we had 2 seasons in the Championship, of course. But, I mean, hopefully, like, I was watching what Gary O'Neill had to say after the game, because you had Defoe and at the end was speaking with Gary O'Neill and one of the ex-Southampton players as a commentator. Obviously not Matt Letizia, of course, but one of the Southampton ex-players was saying about, obviously he was happy with the win and that, but he was saying Southampton need to perform better because they'll be coming up against obviously very well oiled, very well drilled teams, as well as Bournemouth, of course. And yeah, I mean, we got to learn from this 1-0 loss at home, go again against West Ham. Like what Matt was saying a minute ago, West Ham will probably think this is a winnable game, but although they are favourites because they're obviously a better team than us at the minute, personally, I think our team, if we have team spirit and we go into that game and we play well, I reckon we can get something out of this game. I'll be happy. My question is to you: would you be happy with a point away at West Ham?
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy. Yeah, I'll be happy with a point. No matter what the score is, I'll be happy with a point. Points, prizes, isn't it? So, I mean, yeah, if we can move on from this loss and we can pick ourselves back up, like what Gary O'Neill said. He said the team was very unlucky in the final 30 minutes because we did press a lot. Southampton sat back, and of course they had them 2 chances at the end, I think, where I think Che Adams did a through ball straight down to one of their wingers, and he cut round the defence, and it was a great block off the line by Smith because it was such a powerful shot. Neto was just stood in the middle of the goal, and I think it was going into the top right hand corner, but Smith got a block on it. But yeah, I think we were very unlucky in the final 30 minutes. Going back to Tavernier's set pieces, what you were saying is, what I noticed was when we had the corners and the free kicks, he either did it too low, like a low driven set piece, or he'd overhit it and it'd go out for a goal kick or a throw into the opposition. And I'm like, look, we've got players like you were saying, Philip Billing and that is known for good set pieces and that. And yeah, that's all I can say, really.
We were talking as well, and we spoke about this a little while back about Shriki Dembele. And, I was delighted when that transfer didn't go through for him to leave the club. Of course, he come on yesterday, and I don't think he got enough time, really. If he had been brought on a little bit earlier, we could have seen what he could have done in this division. But the runs he did make, do you think he's up to this level? Or do you think we need to see more of him?
I think he's still a young player, isn't it? Is he still?
Yeah.
He's still a young player. I mean, he's playing well at this level of football, the Premier League, of course, and that. If he carries on, I like the way he dribbles and cuts in and that. And he's got good pace. He carries on that, he'll get better, and he's got potential to become a really good player. Also, you were saying about the transfer with Shriki Dembele. We played Norwich in the Cup 2 months ago, and he was meant to play that game, but I don't think he chose to play because he was meant to be set off to a transfer to another team. But the reason I think it was because they didn't want him getting injured before he was set to make a transfer move. But yeah, I thought he. What minute was he came on? I'm just gonna have a look. What minute did he come on?
I think it was around the 80th, wasn't it?
80th minute. Yeah. 80th minute. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mean, he's got potential if he carries on playing really well. Hopefully, if he gets better and that he can. He's a winger, isn't he? Is he a winger?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he can be. The thing is, what I'm happy about is if he gets better and that, and he gets a place in the actual starting team or gets obviously on the bench still. If he comes on as a super sub and that, we've got pace because he can run. He can run. Because I remember when he ran straight up the pitch when we scored that 96th minute winner against Blackpool, and
Yeah.
He scored a couple of goals at home against Bristol when we won 3-2 as well.
Yeah, I actually was going to go back to that Blackpool game, and he really did turn that on its head.
Yeah, because I think we were losing in the 89th minute. Jamal Lowe scored in the 91st minute, and then Dembele popped up ran round the back, used his pace, boom, near post. I think he finessed it near post. Keeper stranded.
He's a talented player. He is a talented player. It's whether or not, we've got, because we are a new Premier League side, whether or not we can play with those sort of, or, I guess there's not going to be many times in this division where we are well clear of the team. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Matt, of course, we've discussed, what's gone wrong. There's quite a lot of positives to take out of that game as well. Would you agree on, what would you say that we need to take into the West Ham game? Well, we know what needs to improve, really.
Yeah, need to be more clinical. And I'm not necessarily just saying Dom Solanke. As a team, Dom brings a lot to his all-round game. He's more than just the striker in my eyes. He does create things for the team as well. So, I think across the board we need to be more clinical. I also think we do need to get those deliveries from set pieces improved. And yeah, I mean, what I may have done last night as just a little bit of a criticism, I think I might have brought Kiefer Moore on a little bit earlier. He might have been able to ruffle some feathers. But yeah, I mean, I would say rather than trying to take a positive out of that game, I think we need to take the positives out of all the games that we've had recently. And there's games there that, where we have been losing, like at Forest, and come back, and even at home losing 1-0 against Leicester and then coming back. So, we do have a lot of qualities. And I just think that we need to really focus now on trying to get something at West Ham. I still, yeah, I still think we lost against a side that aren't on paper as good as some of the squad we've got. I mean, the positive from last night is that Joe Rothwell got some minutes. That's something positive to take from that game itself. And hopefully he continues to get match fit. Yeah, I know I said about I wouldn't have brought Stanislas on, but let's hope he can stay injury free, because again, Stanislas very good from set pieces. He's scored plenty of goals and that over the time from set pieces. So that is a plus, but I still think that for him maybe he needs maybe some minutes with the development squad or under 23s but yeah, that is also a plus. Yeah, it's I'm still a little bit disheartened by it. I think it's to lose 1-0 in the manner we did. Yeah, it's just a little bit much to chew. Yeah, I mean there are a couple of positives, and let's. I mean, we all would probably take this position we're currently in at the start of the season if we said by now we would be in such and such a place, with so many points. Then I think we probably would have taken that. It's just I think with the with the people said about the rivalry, you know, there isn't a rivalry, there is a rivalry. But, you know, when you play a close, you know, a club close to you, obviously, you know, back in the day when we used to have our battles with Reading when they were, you know, trying to get out of their old Division 2, and that was a bit of a rivalry we had there. Obviously, the rivalry we've had with Watford recently, you know, so, you know, to lose to a side up 27 mile up the road, you want to obviously, want to, you know, take the points off them. But, you know, there's always the game at St Mary's. I mean, the last time I went to St Mary's, we played them off the park and we scored 3 goals, and you know, got to the Saints fans a little bit, but let's hope we can do that again. You know, there's always the return leg to get a bit of revenge. So let's hope we can take some points off them next time.
Yeah, I'm sure we will do. We'll wrap it up shortly. You know, no doubt there would have been more people coming on this show tonight had the technical issues not have happened. So I do apologise if you're watching this show on repeat. There was an initial show. We did start it. It's now been removed because it all went wrong. I couldn't hear Matt. Matt couldn't. Then I could hear Matt, but Matt couldn't hear me.
You froze a couple of times, didn't you, Craig?
Yeah, froze a couple of times as well.
Matt,
nothing wrong with the
disconnected.
It was just a bit mad. So we will wrap it up shortly, but we do have a special guest, and thank you for coming on, James. How you doing, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. We can actually hear you. You know, we do apologise. I know you probably had the link earlier on the show that was scheduled to go on that one, but it decided it wasn't going to work for us. So, yeah, thank you so much for finding us tonight. You know, a bit of a disappointing result, wasn't it, mate? But, you know, we got to go again against West Ham, and, you know, fingers crossed. I think we can get a positive result up there, James, can't we, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And James has just made me aware as well. It is on Sky Sports, this game as well, against West Ham. So, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get a decent result at the London Stadium. By all means, if you do want to get involved in this show, just feel free. There is the comment section. The link will be in there. But I can understand if you're watching it on repeat, I do apologise again. You know, it's out of our control. Completely out of our control tonight. So after West Ham, you know, all we have, we're on the run up to the World Cup now, aren't we? And after West Ham, we've got the visit of Spurs. Let's be honest, one of the big six, Spurs. I can't see us getting anything from them. So that's why a point would be imperative, really, wouldn't it? Or can we do something against Spurs?
Well, I think we can. We can. Beat them at home 1-0. 0-0 draw in 2016. Lockdown 2020 March. We got 0-0 draw as well.
Yeah.
I reckon we can get something against Spurs. Point.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it is here. That's the good thing. That is the good thing. You know, a lot of people have been criticising and saying, and another comment that was on Twitter, and this is what really does bug me, is that when we do get a negative result, we're the only beaten side since that game with Liverpool where we got thrashed 9-0. We get a defeat, and then everybody's saying that Gary O'Neill isn't a Premier League manager. I even read that he was a League 2 manager earlier on. You know, he's definitely not a League 2 manager. He's done a good job here. Of course, the Ryan Christie comments that Ryan Christie's not good enough. for this division. I said, look, he's played really, really well all season. Players do have bad games. We've seen about Tavernier. Of course, the Middlesbrough fan was quite interesting because, of course, he wasn't actually slating the player, but he was saying, look, his dead ball situation is no good. But I've heard all this criticism about who needs to be dropped, and shouldn't we just be pleased that we are competing in the Premier League? Well, a good season still for me is 17th. Would you all agree?
Yeah, I'm happy with 17th because then that gives us the potential to sort out the squad. That means if we get 17th, that will show that we need transfers. But staying up. And I like your prediction as well, James, mate. 2-1 away. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I think with 2-1 away.
Oh, another thing as well I was going to say about what Matt was saying about Kiefer Moore and that with the set pieces. When he comes on the last half an hour or so, 20 minutes, the thing that I like about when he comes on is whenever we have he's like a set piece player, like not him taking the actual set pieces. When he gets in the box and that, I think the guy's like 6'5". He can get a great header on it like he did against Villa, and he can stick it home and we can start scoring with him. Because he was saying on ASB TV and that every time the ball goes in the penalty box, it lights up for him and he's really good with his head, I reckon.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, Kiefer Moore would have been the perfect game for him yesterday as well. And, if he was brought on, that's probably the only real criticism I can give of Gary O'Neill yesterday was the Kiefer Moore situation. And Matt, you alluded to that earlier on, didn't you?
What was that? Sorry.
The Kiefer Moore, if he brought him on earlier on, that's, I think that's probably the only thing I could actually criticize him on yesterday. But he's done a good job. And
I was just reading a comment that we've just had on Facebook from Paul Ray. Sorry if you didn't hear me because of Max talking. From a gentleman called Paul Ray in Australia who said that hi Craig, Bournemouth not good, Moore should have been on earlier, which is a point that we've made tonight. Tavernier awful. I would definitely say awful at the set pieces. Tennessee at fault for not marking.
Yeah, that was another point I made
about but early days yet, so
we've only played 12 games.
I remember it is still early days. But that's just one of the comments that we've had on the Facebook page. But I mean, Gary O'Neill, I think it's a bit harsh to describe him as a League Two manager.
I know it's ridiculous, to be perfectly honest.
That's can you call him a Premier League manager? I don't think so at the minute.
The thing is, with him is,
he is doing a fantastic job. For what just being chucked in the deep end, which is what he has. He's inspired to be a manager, so he's obviously taking this opportunity with both hands and doing the best job he possibly can. I personally think the guy deserves a chance. That's just my opinion. Taking it on full time, but like I say, this side of the World Cup, and I've said it before, I would keep him in the interim role. Obviously, it depends on what the new ownership want to do. But I don't think he's done his chances any harm of having the job, maybe even till the end of the season. But without, again, it goes back to the same old thing: who's out there that people would be happy with? When we've been linked to the likes of Terry Henry before,
Patrick Vieira as well, wasn't it?
Vieira, Vieira, to be fair to him, has done a job at Palace, but it's easy to get linked to big names and names like Sean Dyche and Chris Wilder. I mean, he's just been sacked by Middlesbrough. Are you going to entertain him? I don't think so. Sean Dyche, does he play the football that we play? No, he doesn't.
Long ball merchant, isn't he?
Yeah. So, it goes back to, unless the Americans have got a target that they want to bring in, who else is going to take the job? I know we were linked to the guy that's done well. Can't remember the club now, but or the manager's name.
Knutson, Bodo Klimt.
That's him. Yeah. So, I know we've been linked with him, but there's been gambles on managers of his kind of style before coming into the Premier League and not always rubbing off. You can see the American guy that Leeds brought in.
Mm-hmm.
Did they win the night?
I'll have a look. Hold on.
There we are.
2-0 to Leicester.
2-0 Leicester.
So I think he's starting to feel
Leicester had 5 shots all game and one went in, and it was both own goals.
I think he's starting to feel the pressures of the Premier League now. So I mean, choosing a manager that you want to be successful and to work with the club's philosophy is not an easy task.
No.
And yeah, we'll see what happens. But I mean, to describe him as a League Two manager, I think it's a little bit insulting.
Completely agree.
And I haven't read that myself, but wherever you've read that too. But yeah, I mean, at the same time though, I wouldn't call him a Premier League manager at the moment. He's learning the trade, and he will become settled somewhere, whether that's at Bournemouth or another club, and I'm sure he's going to have a great career in management. But no one can fault what he's done at Bournemouth at the minute. I mean, he's turned the players around from players that were obviously down and out, with the previous manager putting them down, publicly. He's come in and, got the confidence going. And that's what a lot of things, that's what a lot of it is with Bournemouth is about the confidence. We do have a decent group of players. Yeah, we're not going to go and storm and win the Premier League, but, we do have a decent amount of players that with confidence will grind results out and with confidence will stay in the league.
Yeah.
That's what he's done for the time being. And this is why I say, last night wasn't great. Obviously, we all wanted to win the game. I predicted 3-0, 3-1, whatever. So, I was completely blown out the ballpark. But let's see how he responds now. This is the real test. As a manager, he hasn't tasted defeat yet. And this will be, as part of the club, as part of the backroom staff, he's tasted defeat. But when you're the man at the helm who picks the team, puts the team out onto the pitch, it's different than being part of the backroom staff. So he would have a, different kind of feeling last night than what he's had recently. And now it's how about he gets the team back onto the training ground and how he builds confidence again in the training and how we go to West Ham and perform. That's what it's all about now for him. He'd just be concentrating purely on West Ham, not worrying about whether he's getting the job or not, preparing the team and looking at getting a result. That would be all that would be on his mind. So, fingers crossed he gets a result on Monday night.
Yeah, because what I was going to say, the thing is, with Craig, you were saying about the comment, some people thinking he's a League Two manager. League Two is probably a bit too harsh, like what Matt's just said. Would you probably say Championship, around the Championship-ish? Because he was, obviously, I'm trying to think. Who was our assistant? Was he assistant manager when Scott Parker had the job when we were in the Championship last season? Was he assistant?
Who? Sorry.
Gary O'Neill.
No, he was first team coach, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah. Sorry, I got that completely wrong. But yeah, personally, I'd probably give him a shout and a chance because look, it's not like we've had a losing streak of 6 games, is it? He's picked up ever since we took the 9-0 defeat away to Liverpool at Anfield. He's got us points. He's got us about 8 points, I think, in the last 6 games, which is quite a lot of points for a club like us. I'd be happy with that. And the way he's playing, it was just an unlucky loss last night, personally. If we keep playing well and we put the Southampton game behind us and we go at West Ham, hopefully we can get some points there. But yeah, I'd give him the job, and if he can keep us up and he gets the job, then fair play to the guy. Hopefully he can put this loss at home Southampton behind him and get the lads going again away at West Ham this Monday night.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you, Wayne Walden, a Fulham fan. Just like to say the Bournemouth are playing good football. You played well against us last Saturday. And I will be completely honest. I think, Fulham are a decent side. And, hopefully, fingers crossed, you can... Well, you got a fantastic win today. So hopefully we can
3-0 at home to Aston Villa with a Douglas Luiz straight red card. I mean, fair play to you guys. Didn't see that coming, but against Villa's team that was good. But you probably got Steven Gerrard the sack now. We'll see in the morning. Yeah.
Right.
Fair play to you guys. You must have played really well tonight to get your 3-0 win. And yeah, well done for getting the points.
And somebody has said Red Army.
Give us a song.
There we are. Of course, the love song of the great Nonny, the great late Nonny, who, I had the pleasure of meeting a couple of times. It was very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing game. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we can respond from this against West Ham and, bounce back. But yeah, we'll wrap it up now. But hopefully, fingers crossed, against West Ham, we can get, a decent result. I'll take a draw up there. And, on to the Spurs game. I think we just got to get this out of our system, haven't we, really?
I mean, yeah, like what you were saying a minute ago, probably not expecting much against Spurs, but if we can get something out of the game, then fair enough, fair play.
I think you'd easily take 2 points out the next 2 games, wouldn't you?
Yeah, especially at home Spurs. If we can get a point against top 6, top 4 side, then that should give us the momentum to go on and win more games and get some draws against some of the top teams and that, because we'll want to go out and get as many points as we can to climb the table. Hopefully, I mean, 17th, I'll be happy with 17th, but we carry on this form. Personally, I'll be happy with at least, maybe, you probably think I'm talking too early, it's early in the season, but early doors, but I'll be happy with something like 14th, 13th maybe, but 17th or 16th I'm realistically happy with, because staying up. But that will prove we'll need transfers if we are down the bottom, but we stay up, of course. Like what Matt was saying to me the other day, we'll need transfers if we're bottom, but stay up.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thank you again, guys, for joining me. And thank you, James, as well, for joining us on the show. I think there was a little bit of a problem with the connection just there. But, you're more than welcome on this show whenever you want. So, yeah, an absolute pleasure to have you on again. But, yeah, thanks, guys. Thank you, Max, for coming on.
You're very welcome, Craig.
No problem at all. And thank you again, Matt. You're my partner in crime. So, no, it's good. It's been good. And like I say, everyone, I'm so sorry about the technical issues tonight. We did have, and I did have a little look, and in that video that was running, there was about 13, 14 people, and that was right at the very start. But nothing was working. So I had to cut it. And then we of course, redid it. And that's why this one probably hasn't had as many views. But yeah, we'll have our preview show coming up very, very shortly as well for the West Ham game. This is a special edition of Cherry Picking. The normal Cherry Picking will be back next week. We'll think of a theme. If you can think of a theme for us, feel free to suggest as well. But yeah, until the next one, up the cherries, and we'll see you then. Thank you for joining us.